we're doing 4x3 at 87.5% this week. And in the last video, we did 4x5, so this is going to be week 2 of that strength block. Next week, we're going to do 4x1s at 97%, 97.5% of one rep max, and then in 2 weeks, we're going to test for new max. So ideally, and I think this is going to happen in every single lift, my 1 rep max will increase by at least 10 to 20 pounds. Let's get into it.
Get back to the business. I feel the spirit moving through the city. I got the light shining, come get it. Walking with Christ, moving where it's gritty. Walking with Christ, moving where it's gritty. I feel the spirit moving through the city. I see the people trying to bring them with me. We got a light, tell them come and get it. Yeah. Walk, 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 walk.
As an advanced lifter, meaning I've been lifting for about a decade, I used to struggle a lot with lower back pain and SI joint issues, and there was a time during college where I could barely squat 185, and I actually stopped deadlifting for about 2 years altogether just because the pain got so bad. So being injury free and creating a room for consistency is the best thing that you can do for your body, especially as a natural lifter. Recovery times for us just aren't the same, so training smart is extremely important, and an exercise like the deadlift is one that you have to be smart. If you don't feel fantastic that day, if you're a little bit too stiff or a little bit too sore, be smart. Don't overreach if you don't have to. Injuries always create a setback, and usually an injury is accompanied by a loss of strength for anywhere between 2 to 6 months, depending on the injury severity, before you are able to perform the same weight again. So all it does is just delay progress, and that's why I'm a little bit more conservative with the heavy lifts. Now, this is an excuse to not train hard. I'm not saying don't go to failure. You absolutely should go near that failure point, but you have to do it with impeccable form. Exercises that involve the barbell, like the barbell squat, the deadlift, the bench press, and the overhead press, these big main lifts that require the highest level of motor unit recruitment and are the most energy demanding because of the involvement of stabilizing muscles and the load that you're able to use on these types of exercises, they must be executed properly, because if your form sucks, 2 things are happening. 1, you're putting yourself at a higher risk of injury due to improper form, and 2, you're not fully utilizing the muscles that are intended for that exercise, which ultimately means you're just wasting energy for no reason and you're yielding less from the lift. Progress is slower and injury is more common, which can lead to this hamster wheel of little to no progress. So moving on from the deadlift, my first lat isolation exercise was the single arm lat pull down. I know that most people have seen JPG's variation with a neutral grip, but personally I've always preferred to do these with a wider angle and a pronated grip, as I can feel it target the latissimus dorsi and the posterior delts, and it results in this nasty lat pump without exhausting my biceps too much. Now, I still do neutral grip on a lot of things, and especially love them for chin-ups, because neutral grip really targets the serratus muscle and leaves you feeling like that extra wide and gives you that silverback gorilla type of pump. Neutral grip exercises will have a tendency to leave my biceps more fatigued, and cramping is a little bit more common after I do a lot of neutral grip work, so I'll leave the neutral grip stuff towards the end of the workout so that it doesn't affect any other exercises. Excuse the terrible angle in this shot, but the one thing that I want to emphasize with this set is watch how I pause after a few reps, I reset, and I roll my shoulders back and stand tall. The reason why I do this is because one of the things that happens with barbell curls is a forward lean and shoulder internal rotation, because you start to use a little bit momentum. If you want to maximize this exercise and put all of the work and all of the demand on the biceps, your shoulders should rotate externally, or roll them back and stand tall with your chest high. This is the best execution for the barbell curl exercise. The next lat exercise I did is probably the absolute best exercise for back development in my personal opinion, just from experience. When I started to focus heavily on pull-ups, my back began to grow like crazy, and it's probably the most developed area of my physique, and pull-ups played a huge role in that development. If you can't do a lot of pull-ups, add a small band or find some type of assistance that forces you to reach failure on pull-ups. This is one of those exercises that failure is completely safe and highly recommended. My favorite grip variation is the pronated grip, medium or wide width, But if you're more of a beginner, neutral grip may feel better. If you have wrist issues, neutral grip is probably better. But if you're trying to maximize the exercise and make the lats, the trapezius, the rhomboids, and the posterior delt and the arms grow and become strong, absolutely do it with a pronated grip, which means the palms facing away from you. To finish off the workout, I did a seated hamstring curl because I did deadlifts today. The hamstrings and the glutes had already been activated, so this was a good way to squeeze in some extra leg work. My hamstrings and my legs in general are a weak point, so I try to emphasize them 2 times per week if possible. Now I chose the seated hamstring curl over the standing or the lying because research, such as this study by Mayo et al., found that the seated curl had a slightly better hypertrophy response compared to the standing or the lying leg curl.